Hey guys, welcome back to another Book Lovers Pizza video. Today I'm going to be reviewing Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Written in 1953 with one of the most iconic opening lines, "It was a pleasure to burn," Fahrenheit 451 explores a futuristic dystopian society where books are banned and burned, and firemen, instead of protecting them, they burn them. As always, it is important to explore the context of the novel. Written in 1953, 8 years after World War II, book burning is a common motif among literature at the time. For example, The Book Thief, which explores the book burning in Germany before, during and after World War II. The goal of these book burnings was to restrict alternative perspectives over time to the common people so that they can't defy the authoritative leaders. This way, the leaders can control the past, present, and future. Which is something very applicable to Fahrenheit 451, which we'll explain and explore later on. Especially interesting, and I think it adds to the contents of the novel, is that Ray Bradbury wrote his first draft on the rented typewriters of a UCLA library. This took him 9 days and $9.80 total to finish it. The novel follows protagonist Guy Montag, who works as a fireman and burns down books. The people in the dystopian society do not read books, they don't socialize, have meaningful conversations, or even think independently. Instead, they choose to speed through their lives. They're fined for driving too slowly. They spend their entire afternoons either listening to electronic bees or watching wall TVs day on and day out. Such was the life of Montag and his wife Mildred, until one day, coming home from work burning down books as usual, Montag meets a 17-year-old girl called Clarisse McClellan, who opens his eyes by asking brutal but reflective questions on his life, which allow him to understand and realize the monotony of his life. Following this, Montag encounters many incidents that greatly increase the feeling of nihilism that he has in his life, but also encourages him to find a new purpose. This is what ultimately allows him to rebel, in a sense, against his society and meet some unlikely allies. The first step? Picking up a book. Now moving on to the key themes. As mentioned before, a key theme in the book is censorship. Books are banned and burned in the society. In a speech, in a monologue actually, from Captain Beatty, captain of the firemen, he explains the origin of why these books are banned, and it stems from minorities getting offended at the contents of certain books. Authors, seeking to avoid this criticism in a sense, write books that are generalized and do not offend anyone, and these apparently weren't approved, and society ultimately decided it would be easier to burn these books than to try to change the system. An interesting route to consider is the effect of the censorship. As seen with the Nazi book burnings of 1933, and especially in this novel, individuals of the current society are no longer able to learn from the past or see alternative perspectives. Instead, their only source of information is from the government, who use that very system of censorship to control them in the first place. Another key theme in the book is authority versus the individual. When analysing the juxtaposing households of the McClellan family and the Montag and Mildred family, we can see that under the same oppressive leadership, the difference between a search for autonomy and freedom and conforming to that form of society. Another key theme, hedonism and instant gratification. As a reader, you're left to wonder, why do they drive so fast? Why do they have seashells constantly in their ears? Why do they always watch wall screen TVs? What's even more interesting is how dependent members of society have become to this source of instant gratification. Take Mildred, for example. If you take away her 3-walled TV screens, she cannot live. She is so dependent on these TV screens. They're her only source of entertainment, her only source of enjoyment, of pleasure, of relaxation, of life. The next theme I want to analyze is the idea of ignorance is bliss. If you look at the firemen, their role is burning down books, so destroying information, but they also have no information themselves. They're on this precipice, this threshold of ignorance, but is that ignorance bliss? Do they want to know what they're doing? Do they want to know what they're a part of? Their firemen, their goal is to implement ignorance through not being able to read, not understanding their past, to promote a sort of sameness across the entire society. Montag breaking away from this is significant, as it shows him moving away from this herd mentality of the firemen, acknowledging and accepting these rules without questioning why they're doing what they're doing. The first striking thing that I found was the actual title of the book, Fahrenheit 451. As you see in the epilogue, it's the temperature at which paper burns. In other words, Fahrenheit 451 is 232.2 degrees Celsius, which kind of puts into perspective how hot that is. The overarching theme of the novel is also something that I really connected with, the importance of literature, as you can see by my enjoyment of books, the bookshelf behind me, the bookshelf over there, two bookshelves downstairs. I believe literature is something that's quite important, and the consequences of burning these works of literature, these sources of information, these conversations you can have with people of the past, is something quite heinous and has many disadvantages to it. Another reason I like the book so much is the plethora of motifs that it has, such as the mechanical hound, the fire, the books, the phoenix, the salamander, the fireman, etc. They all added value in their own way and enhanced my understanding and appreciation of the novel. Another reason that I like the book so much is Bradbury's powerful use of prose. Through the use of prose, he's able to create such a convincing character with such admirable but confused qualities, who seeks to find his way in a world that has become so unfamiliar to him. Another thing that I found quite humorous was that in his self-written prologue, he discusses the advice given to him by his friend Frederick Fellini, saying, "Don't tell me what I'm doing, I don't want to know." And this is quite well reflected in the book, where his use of prose has such a more emotive connection with the reader. The only thing that I didn't like about the book is that it ends on such a cliffhanger and there's no book 2. Overall, Fahrenheit 451 is an astonishing book that teaches us so much about what makes us human. In the ever-changing world, especially now with the arrival of artificial intelligence, it's so easy to get lost and distracted in the endless sources of instant gratification, such as social media, your phone, your iPad, your laptop, your TV, which is almost the size of those war-screened TVs that they talk about in the book. And it can be interpreted as a warning to not get lost in this time of instant gratification and to remember where we came from. Hopefully we'll never have to live in a society where our books are burned and the very firemen that are meant to be protecting us are burning our homes. But who knows? Maybe we'll be too immersed in our war screen TVs and our seashells to notice. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. See ya.